Guys Review, where we review media, products, and experiences.
You already fucked that one up. You want to redo it?
No, I think we'll just let it roll.
Okay.
Steven's not here, so. With me today is Chris and Trey. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
And
I'm eating candy.
yes, you are.
It's good.
What is that?
Caramello.
Caramello, nice. Today we're going to be reviewing The Headhunter, which is a 2018 American fantasy horror film directed by Jordan Downey, who also co-wrote, produced, and edited the film. It stars Norwegian actor Christopher Reig as the title character, Cora Kaufman, and Aisha Ricks. The film centers on the title character who works as a bounty hunter for a local kingdom. Before we get into the movie, though, guys, how was your week?
You just started the synopsis
I didn't start the synopsis.
for the guy that works as a bounty hunter for a local kingdom. That's the entire
That's
plot.
half the movie.
How was your week, guys?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right. I wish I could have stayed for that ghost tour thing.
Yeah, what happened?
Huck was losing his fucking mind. Like a small baby at 8:30 at night. Who could have predicted this?
I can't control when they start doing
No, I mean,
these
it's not your fault. We tried.
Yeah, I mean, at least you got out of the house for a little
Yeah, it
bit.
was good to see everybody. And like Huck didn't fucking appreciate anybody there.
Chris, what about you, buddy?
It's been a good week. There's not much to say.
Any news, any excitement?
No.
Lot of build up for very little payoff there.
I know, right? No, it's not new, man. I'm getting close to the end of football season, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming off
So-
the bye week, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm off a bye week and also, home game this weekend, so I'm about to be busy as shit at work. So there's that.
Well, do we want to give everybody a kind of an update on where we're doing with the pick'ems?
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a rundown.
Yeah, I'm closing in.
You are closing in, actually.
Considering I'm missing a week.
You're actually missing like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Well, currently right now, Steven is winning somehow with 273 points.
Do y'all just want to take off this next week and let me catch up and see what happens?
I think I'm good. Chris is in second with 271, and I'm right behind Chris with 268, and Trey is missing probably 20-ish points.
Not about that.
And that's all the points he missed for those weeks.
So
I mean, really,
he's-
he's probably being first.
He's sitting on 246, so if you add in his 20 points, then he would be at 266, which would still put him in last place.
20 points.
Yeah.
How?
Because right now he's at 246. He said he's missing 20 points.
In the week that he missed? That's more points than that in a week.
Yeah.
He said 20 points. I'm going off of what he said.
That's fine. We'll just add 20 points to my score at the end of the season and see if I'm in last. That's
Okay,
fine.
we can do that.
It was a tough competition this year. Last year was pretty big gap. Steven screwed the pooch last
Steven
year.
did screw the pooch last year. So I don't.
He got into a hole and he could never get himself out of it.
Yeah. Well, my week was pretty good. It was busy at work, but the weekend was really good. We did that walking ghost tour in downtown Auburn Friday night. That
Was it downtown Auburn? I thought it was downtown Opelika.
No,
It was
they
both.
had one in Opelika, but they had the one we went to was in downtown Auburn.
Here's my thing. So me and my mom were talking about this. And I said, yeah, they were down there. I was like, they're down there doing a downtown ghost tour of Opelika. My mom looked at me. She said, we lived in Opelika all of our lives. What the hell? Downtown ghost tour. Like, there's nothing haunted down there.
Bullshit.
Yeah, of course, whatever they made up. Sure.
Do you believe in ghosts?
No, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
You do?
I believe in like energies and shit. Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever watch Ghost Adventures?
Now, to be
Maybe
fair,
not.
I do watch all that stuff. I watch the Ghost Adventures and the other one too. I used to watch that one all the time. What's the other one called?
I don't know. Ghost Adventures used to be really good.
Ghost Adventures got the 3 guys.
Yeah.
But then you got the other one, the Ghost Hunters got like the 5 guys or
I
whatever
know.
it is. When it was as popular.
Yeah.
You know.
Fuck if I know.
But
But
I
so-
watch that shit, but I don't believe it.
So we did that, and then last night, Steven and Ashley were in town, so we had a bunch of people over here. You guys were over here. Trey apparently got a flat tire,
Yeah.
and his phone died, so he couldn't text anybody and let us know.
No, I mean, there was nothing y'all could do. I just.
He says none of your damn business.
You were invited.
Oh, I mean,
Y'all were invited.
I got you, but I mean, you know.
You know what? Phone works 2 ways, buddy. Somebody could have called him and been like, "Hey, man, are you still coming?"
I was
What's
a
the
lot of
story,
beers.
right?
I was never committed to this one. Like,
Right?
I was committed to Friday night.
I was a
and I
lot
showed
of
up.
beers deep on
Yeah.
last night. A lot of beers deep.
Yeah, a lot of fingers deep, too.
Ha.
No, just 2 knuckles.
Still more than I want to count.
But so yeah, it's been a good weekend. Good to get to see everybody. Stephen and Ashley are driving right now, so
Yeah.
that's why he's not here. All right, so like we said, we're going to be reviewing the movie The Headhunter, and it's
Budget.
got it's got 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, 3 out of 5 stars on Common Sense Media. You guys want to hazard a guess on Google users?
Do you already know the answer?
No.
I don't either. I'm going to go with 84. That was a good number, wasn't it?
Well, I was going to go like 45.
Are you,
I
Jeez.
fucking hate this, and I don't think there's that many Google users that fucking like this one.
you actually win it. It's 59% of Google
Jeez.
users liked this movie.
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
The initial release was October 6th of 2018. It was released on a $30,000 budget, which today would probably, I didn't do the math on it, probably be about $35,000. Had a total box office haul worldwide in 2018 of $44,652, which is probably just a touch over $50,000 today. So this movie was...
It made money. It's
It made
commercial
money.
success.
Yeah.
This movie was not a commercial success.
I beg to differ.
It made... They doubled their investment. That's how they...
Dude, that's...
They only paid
It made-
30,000.
it made-
So I mean, like,
I mean, so you
made
make
less
like
than 50%. It made less than 50% profit.
it made
Still made profit.
150%.
you know what? You know what? Here's the thing.
It made less than 50% profit.
The reason why I think
Yeah, but
the
still 150%.
the reason why I think the Google users is so low on it is because when it's out, it came out right there at the Games of Thrones
Game of
time.
Thrones.
Yeah, and Witcher and all that.
Yeah.
That they probably went into this thinking like, oh, it's going to be like that, and then they realized real fast, shit's not like that, you know.
I mean,
And you look at it, it's like $30,000.
well, dude, I'm embarrassed to say I've fucking rented this thing twice. Like, I rented it the very first time when I told us about it, and then I made y'all watch it, and I fucking hadn't seen it in like a year.
So you rented it?
So I rented it again.
Why don't you watch it for free
I didn't know it was on for
on
free.
Voodoo? It was free. You sent us the thing. You sent it to us. Yeah, you
I
did.
don't use Voodoo.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
free. Well, Voodoo's free.
I
So-
don't have Voodoo either, so I rented this movie for
What the hell?
for $3.99.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
sent us the thing that showed like what it was on, and
Well,
the
I don't
Voodoo was right there.
have Voodoo.
All you gotta do is download it.
Oh, okay. Well,
And
I
then it
guess
was
I'll do
like-
that next time.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that on my
First time you guys saw this movie?
like a year ago
The
when
other
I
day.
told you all about it.
Today?
Yeah, no, I started it a couple of days ago, and I got about 30 minutes into it. Then I got busy. And I was going to watch it Thursday, but then I watched. What the hell did I watch Thursday? Oh,
Anything else?
Clerks 3. That's what I watched Thursday.
Okay.
So, yeah. Sorry, like I put. No, that's when I did start watching because I was like, watch Clerks 3, and I was like, I'm about to watch the other movie.
Yeah, first time I saw it was, unfortunately, today.
Well, you said it wasn't as bad as I was making it out.
I will get into that in a minute. I didn't say it was good. I said it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I mean, it's pretty fucking rough. I feel like you can go to like an old folks home and just like see like an old man that falls, and like they
Jesus.
sit him in his chair, and like he's all like bruised where he fell down,
Christ.
and like that's sort of like the same energy.
Holy shit! I do know something that happened this week. Now that you mentioned old folks,
Oh, God. That's
So-
a terrible
This Anita
segue.
made to come back.
so you know, when I was at work with one of my jobs, a person died, right?
The fuck?
Yeah, somebody actually died in the restaurant I was working in once.
Today? Like this
No,
week?
no, this was like years ago.
So the other restaurant.
Yeah, the
Okay.
other restaurant.
Okay.
So somebody actually died in the restaurant and all, but they took her, the ambulance picked her up and they said, hey, they're like, we don't want to get y'all any negative publicity, so we're just going to pronounce her dead, at the hospital. I said, okay, that's cool. But she was stiff as she came there for her birthday.
Oh,
And that was because it was her favorite place to eat at.
I was
and her
about to say
family
that
were
that's
there.
a sort of sad place to celebrate your birthday.
Wait a minute. So I was working the other night. I don't work night times, okay? This is why. So I worked the other night. Damn lady had a heart attack right there in the restaurant. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I was like, I'm done working night times. People die on me when I work night times. She didn't die though, but
Oh,
still.
You know, Auburn University, the stadium, there's never been someone die in the stadium. Do you know why?
Because they take them outside.
To pronounce them dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't doubt that.
No, they do. There's
No,
just like there's never been a death in Disneyland.
I
Or in
mean,
Disney World. Same reason. They will not let you. They won't let you call it in the park. You have to take them outside the gates.
and pronounce them dead. I don't doubt that. I mean, I don't doubt it goes to a lot of places and all that. That
You could get
You
decapitated
don't want
on
that
a
on
roller
the-
coaster, and they're not going to call it until they wheel your ass out of the park.
That's because exactly what happens is that they get that bad. People start spreading rumors and all around, like, oh, they died in this restaurant. Oh, the food that they served was bad. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden it gets changed up to something else. Than what it
Man,
really
there could be
was.
some truth to that, though.
That's fair.
Trey, do you have a synopsis for this movie, sir?
The food
I'm
was
just gonna tell you
truly
what happened.
heavenly.
Oh, God. Do you want to go off of Wikipedia?
Wikipedia.
No, I'm going to just tell you.
You did do it.
All right. I mean, like,
Let's roll.
there ain't much happening to it. All
Anybody
right.
can talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
All right. So we are introduced to the father, and he very early on in the movie, he has a daughter, and the daughter is apparently killed by a monster. And this man's sole job is a bounty hunter for this kingdom in the neighboring town to be a monster killer. So as you watch him go out and he'll fight these monsters, he comes back and like he takes some of their blood and makes it in this magical elixir that he pours on his wounds, and it heals them up almost instantly. And then he goes back out and goes and fights more monsters. And that's the movie.
I guess that's the
In
first
a
part.
nutshell,
I guess
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the first part of the movie.
That is-
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
let's discuss.
Let's discuss that part. So you already get the feeling that the monster killed his daughter because of the fact that he makes the comment like I'll always like protect you or whatever it is, and then you see her later on, she's dead. So you kind of already get the idea that some monster must have killed him or something must have killed him, killed his daughter that he couldn't protect against. So you got that going on, This is a pretty interesting movie in a certain sense because it's taken from just one person,
Yeah.
And there's nobody else around. There's nothing else going around. So there's no dialogue because there's no need for a dialogue because there's nobody for him to talk to except for every now and then his daughter's, remains or whatever he goes and talks to, which is pretty crappy. It was like, got you this, and just throws it on her grave,
Well, they tried to set a mood with the way that it was filmed. They had I guess it was like a blue filter over the lens because everything's
Yeah.
kind of like the colors aren't very bright and vibrant. It's very almost monochromatic in a sense. And I guess they're doing that to kind of set the mood of they're trying to be dark and edgy, and it's supposed to set that somber / scary.
Well, it had that
That
whole winter's.
medieval-
It had
yeah.
that kind of winter's coming kind of feel to
Well,
it.
just a medieval winter kind of feel.
Exactly.
But I don't know who filmed this. I don't know who the cameraman was or who the
Stuart?
set guys were.
There was like 6 fucking guys who made this
There
movie.
were,
Yeah.
but they did a horrible job because if you watch that movie, you can see bits and pieces all throughout the movie where you get modern equipment. Like there was one scene I remember in particular, you could see a fucking nylon strap with a metal bar hanging
Really?
from it. Yeah. I mean, there were several scenes like that where you can catch little things that are so out of place that you don't see in, I guess, higher budget movies because this is a very independent film.
Right. And I think you got to kind of go in with that notion too. This is an independent film, $30,000.
It is, but the pacing of this movie was just slow. Like it was very much like Lord of the Rings minus the action because all he does is fucking walk. It's literally 72 minutes of this guy walking.
Well, okay. So what do you mean? Like, yeah, he does a lot of walking, sure. What are you trying to mean? Like, because you don't ever see the fights, you just see him come back with the heads.
No, and then he comes back into his house or hut or whatever it is. Which, by the way, you could look at the roof on that house and tell that it had a modern roof. They just covered it with straw. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not
low budget.
It is low budget, but damn.
I mean, what do you want them to do? Build a whole nother hut? That's going to go. That right there is going to be outside their budget. I mean,
I can
that's
just
going to
imagine
put
them
it
going
more
to like the
outside
set
of their budget.
designer and be like, "Hey, can you do this?" And be like, "Fuck no, I can't. I don't know how to build a hut."
They're like, oh, there's a house off in the distance. You should do that shit there.
Yeah, put some straw on top of that.
That's probably the house is probably the California location one. They did in 3 different locations.
Yeah, like Portugal, like Norway, and California.
yeah,
They shot in different locations on this?
3 different locations. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't realize that.
Just imagine the budget.
Well,
because like you
The
have,
hell,
like-
half their budget was traveling.
before they did the movie, the writing of it, they knew the location.
But that's what I'm saying. Half the
You know
movie.
what I'm saying? Like they already knew when they saw it, when the director and everything, writer, director, whatever, when they saw this location, I guess the one in Norway probably, when they saw the location, they were like, I want to do a movie here. And then they're like, let's write something now. You know?
I did appreciate some of the drone cinematography, because there were several scenes where they used a drone to do aerials and do something where he would be standing like on a hill or walking up a hill, and they would keep the camera on him but pan it around, and you could obviously tell that it wasn't green screen. He was actually walking up a fucking hill.
Yeah.
So I thought the use of the drone in this movie it wasn't gratuitous. It actually did something. I liked the way stylistically that looked. I wish they would have done it without that fucking blue filter for the whole damn movie.
Well, I mean, you know, but I mean, here's the thing. You're right. It does take different camera angles, which is kind of odd. You know, like you have the kind of a stationary camera angle, and then there's certain scenes in there where it's like the walking with a camera angle. And then there's one from his perspective that they eventually do, and that's
just later in the movie.
Yeah, but it's just like you have all the different camera angles and different vision. It's kind of like, and maybe if they stuck with one, this movie could have been a little bit better because of that. Going to different angles is kind of like, what am I seeing here?
And one thing I understand, he's wanting to get revenge. That's the whole plot of the movie. He's wanting to get revenge for whoever it is, whatever it was that killed his daughter.
Yeah. I mean, he's not in it for the money.
Right.
Well, we got to get to that and all.
Well, no, we've kind of gotten there, because you see him open that chest at one point and throw
the money
throw the gold in there, and it's
So what it is like he's hired on. The king, I guess, sends like his archer out, shoots it into the tree, and then he pulls a note for the wanted creature that he's supposed to kill at the time, and he gets money. I don't know how or what.
So that's the thing. I'm assuming he takes the head and shows someone at the kingdom that
half the time he's walking back almost dead. They just let him. They give him the money. They let him walk off kind of dead.
I'm pretty sure he's not showing anybody shit, because he's like going and like mounting the head on the fucking wall.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Why are you? I understand you want revenge.
I'm thinking,
but why are you mounting the head on the wall? And it's not really mounted. He's just taking it and shoving it on a spike.
Yeah, I know.
But the thing is, like, you know, like they don't do a great job of establishing like which monster was the one that killed the daughter until like the end, and like, you know, like why he keeps like fighting all these other ones.
Well, they don't explain shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, there's so many like plot holes. Like
they don't explain a damn thing in this movie.
I'm assuming that what happens though, as far as the bounty goes, what it is that the king is, you know, this guy is, you know, a hired bounty that nobody knows about. So he's probably, you know, going off and getting like the credit. Him and his knights and all that are getting the credit. He's probably having somebody meet him, you know, stay down by the tree with the bounty money, you know. After he gets the note, they probably come back up and then send somebody down X amount of hours later, or days or whatever, with the money. And they're like, here you go, here's the money, show me the head that you killed him, and then, okay, I'll confirm it to the king.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that it's something like that.
He's low key. He probably, you know, I don't know. It's one of those, like, you're right. You don't get much of a background story into it. You don't know really too much about the character. You know, it just jumps right into him.
There's not any character development except for the fact that you see the daughter. You assume she gets killed. Somehow.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and you don't really know what killed her until
later on in the movie.
And he says he's back or something like that. All right, Trey, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so he has this window that just keeps fucking like flapping open and shut. And so when he finally gets the bounty for the monster that killed his daughter, he goes and he kills it, presumably. You know, he brings the head back to his little hut and puts it on the table, and the wind pushes the shutter and it knocks this elixir down onto the head and it brings it back to life. And then the head sneaks off. It attaches itself to the body of his daughter. And then, you know, he has to go fight the monster again with his daughter's body, and then, you know, cuts the head off, stabs the head multiple times.
He didn't cut it off. He ripped it out.
Yeah, he ripped it on out. But
whatever.
But he does stab it several times.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of things. Are you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
There were a couple of things that was they kind of beat you over the head with some of the foreshadowing in this movie. Like when he's up on the mountainside and he builds that fire and there's the dead, I guess, other bounty hunter next to him, and he asks the bounty hunter, "What got you?"
No, he's like, no, it couldn't have been a...
And Ash says, yeah, it was a troll, whatever. But then he said a line, and I'm like, that's going to come back and get him. He's like, what got me was an oath I made to a little girl.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right there, I'm sitting there thinking, all right, this dude, he's going to kill the monster, but get mortally wounded, can't make it back to his elixir, and that's what's going to kill him. And then later, when he sees that that elixir got knocked onto the floor. Which, by the way, why would you put that in a windowsill with a window that you know doesn't?
Well, and
fucking
he had
work?
all the other ones like in a little
chained
tray
up.
thing, just
Like
stood
chained
up in
up.
that one.
Right.
Yeah.
But when he goes and puts
Well,
it
it's that foreshadowing with the window. Like
he
they've been
goes-
doing that.
when he goes and puts it on the spider, and the spider comes back to life, and he's like, fuck, and then he smashes the spider and presumably kills the spider a second time.
Mm-hmm.
When he walks off, the camera stays on the spider,
And it
Spider comes back
starts
moving.
moving again. So
It foreshadows
at
that
this point,
it
you
doesn't
know
totally.
that he's not going to kill the monster a second time. It's in my mind, I'm going, the monster's going to kill him. He's not going to survive the end of this movie. I don't know how yet, but he's not going to.
Well, yeah, because it's the elixir apparently it doesn't just cure. I guess it makes you immortal in this sense.
Except for him.
Except for him, yeah, because he has to keep using it.
Valid point.
Yeah. And then that leads us to the end where he goes to fight the monster the last time, and then the monster attaches himself to the father.
So yeah, and that's another thing. Why was this monster run? I understand that it had to get a body back. I get that, but somehow this is a head, and you see in a spinal cord or spinal column,
Yep.
crawling around going body.
Yeah.
And what the fuck? You know where they ripped that off from? Like no shit, they ripped that off from Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday.
Okay.
Did y'all ever see
I didn't
that
watch
movie?
that one.
Nope.
Okay. There was
Was Jason walking around saying body?
No, he wasn't walking around saying body. There was Jason gets killed in the beginning of the movie, and when he goes to get autopsied, he somehow possesses the morgue guy. The shit, can't think what they're called right now. Son of a bitch.
The mortician?
Not the mortician. Who does it? The medical examiner.
Okay.
To like fucking eat his heart, and then he gets possessed with like Jason's soul, and he has to go and find a child of Pamela Voorhees or a descendant of Pamela Voorhees and get back into like a Voorhees body.
Okay.
So to me, it felt like they kind of ripped that off from the Jason movies.
Okay.
So
that's
this is kind of getting in my triple Lindy
okay.
with this
Shit. All right.
because it's bullshit that little brainstem thing creature, that dude's running full sprint towards the cemetery. And it was just right there with the creature, and yet that creature was able to get there, dig in the ground, get the body out before he ever got there.
Yeah.
That's bullshit right there. Like, I mean, the dude was running full sprint at the gravesite because he knew. He was like, he heard him say something about body. He was in earshot range, so he heard him say something about body.
Mhm. And he's like, "Oh no, my little girl."
Yeah, so that little thing's got to use it doesn't even have hands. It's got to use a spinal cord to sit there and
Would have
dig-
been so much cooler if he attached himself to the fucking horse.
It would have been
Jesus
great.
Christ, like a
But the horse got
almost.
killed.
Yeah.
The horse got killed earlier.
Yeah, but so did the little girl.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but after the horse got killed, I don't know what he did with the horse.
He buried it.
Did he?
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Yeah. It was the big hole.
Oh, okay.
So have we got to the end where he gets killed?
Yeah, we already
just
got there.
covered that. So basically, my triple Lindy is going to be that magical elixir that just instantly heals you up.
You go ahead and
Like
say
you-
it's your triple
yeah,
Lindy.
Yeah, you just go ahead and get fucking murked and like in a fight and like you're maimed. Yeah, I'm gonna take this magic mud and rub it on my wound and I'm better tomorrow.
Yeah, totally healed up 100%. I will say though, something that was kind of cool in a way was the part where he's in the little like walk area, right? And he could hear the creature, coming out from the entranceway. But the part where it starts crawling up on the roof, you know what I mean, inside on the ceiling of it, that was kind of cool. I had to give it some credit on there. I was like, that's kind of spooky and cool in a way that you just see it crawling up there.
Is that your triple Indy?
No, it's not my triple Indy. I was
Okay.
just saying that's just
He just
kind of
used his
cool
triple
part.
Indy.
Yeah, I told you my triple Indy is. We're doing our triple Indy without doing our triple Indy.
Yeah,
This episode's all fucked up.
it is.
This is a shitty movie. Like this is bad.
So I feel like they had a really good, what could have been a really, really good premise, and if they'd had maybe a better screenwriter, more money,
$30K. That's all you have.
fleshed it out a little bit better, I think that this could have been really, really good.
Yeah, it had the potential.
Yeah,
They just
it
didn't.
had a lot of potential, but they screwed the pooch with it pretty
Well,
bad.
I mean, how many other low budget movies are there out there?
Clerks.
There's probably a lot, but there's probably
Clerks.
no. I'm not saying done well. That's different though, because like You have no
It's all dialogue.
right. You have no visual effect really in that movie. You know, so it's like it's not the same. But I'm talking about like how many other like low budget, good idea movies, but because it's so low budget, it just falls because of that.
Here's the thing, like I will say this in defense of this movie, like for that one guy to do all the acting and literally only him doing the acting in this movie.
I wouldn't really,
Kudos to him.
I wouldn't really call what
He
did.
has to depend on it with facial expressions too. by the
Absolutely.
way.
He wasn't really acting. He walked and he grunted. That was pretty much the movie.
But I mean, like
No, he did.
you know,
He acted.
Yeah, you had to see that like he got fucked up in the fights and you know this and that.
When the orgs or whatever it was that was coming into his place, you know, he had to have that kind. You know, you saw that look on his face and just the whole like, I'm gonna have to sneak up.
and to really carry the movie with just you, no words.
Yeah, no
Very
dialogue.
few words.
Yeah, I mean, because basically most of the movie he's not talking.
They probably said less than, I'm guessing, less than 100 words in this movie.
Oh, easily.
I mean, there was hardly any dialogue.
Yeah, like you had like the
Yeah.
narration at the beginning and like
Yeah.
that one scene where he's talking to the grave, but like
Yeah.
They tossed his dart at the beginning,
He says
Oh,
shit
yeah.
and fuck a few times, and that's
Yeah.
that's really about all he says.
which I didn't realize those are medieval words, were they?
Yeah.
Oh.
One thing that I absolutely
they are in this movie.
One thing that I absolutely despised about this movie was when they did that scene with the camera angle looking through his helm.
Yeah, well, I talked about that earlier. Yeah.
We did, but I mean, it was just bad. It was very
Yeah, they could have left that out. I don't
It
like
was
that
very
visual part.
Blair Witchish almost, and I think it would have been better served if they'd had
Which it was more like Michael Myers, the first one. You know, the first like the angle right there. You know, from the whole hard breathing.
Never really watched
Whenever
it.
he's
So
I think they could have done that. They could have created that same kind of effect by having the camera like over his shoulder and it moving with him instead of trying to shoot it from that perspective inside the helm. Because basically all they did was take like a cardboard and cut out what they assumed the inside of that helm would look like and put it over the lens. And it just it didn't look good to me.
So what I'm talking about is the first Halloween where the kid, right?
Mhm.
You remember, like you're coming from that perspective.
Oh,
where
yeah,
kid
the
comes in the
very
room.
beginning of the movie.
right?
At the very
That's what I'm
beginning.
talking about. It had
I
that
got
kind
you,
of
yeah.
effect to it. And
I
you know,
felt
there's
like-
no telling. It's probably what they're kind of.
I felt like they did a better job in the Halloween movie than they did in
I
this,
agree.
in this one.
it's a higher budget movie too,
That's fair.
and you had a whole lot more people on set than this one.
It's true.
It's not. It's that angle was just terrible because it showed you it's like if he's such a good warrior, I mean, why would you have not looked to your side there first? You're right there on the
where
balcony.
the fucking noise came from.
Well, you're on the balcony too, and it's like, okay, well, shit, it's going to be on the. If it's going to be up here with me, it's going to probably be on the balcony first, you know. So, I mean, that would be the first thing I would do is like look across the balcony before I just start staring off at the water, you know.
And what medieval home like that is going to have a fucking balcony?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
it's
He's poor, he's not poor, but he doesn't care about money because all he cares about is killing things. And can you imagine how bad that house would
he should have
stink?
used that a little bit of that money and all bought him carpenter to come fix that damn
Can
window.
you imagine how bad that fucking house had to stink with the heads that weren't,
Oh, yeah, it's
weren't preserved?
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not healthy to live in that place. I can tell you that much.
So-
And then you see the flies around it at the end of the movie.
Yeah. So we know Treys Triple Lindy is the magical elixir.
yes,
My
Chris-
triple Lindy is the fact that little brain, spinal brain head thing or whatever could. Never mind the fact that it's sitting there alive with no like vital
Organs?
function. Yeah, exactly. It's just a brain. Like it should be dead. Like
Yeah.
period. It should be dead. It can't move. Like it just can't. You know. But the fact that it could get to the cemetery before him in that short period of time. It's like this not be, and he was running full sprint
Yeah.
at there.
Did y'all also notice when he goes to like fight the monsters that like the sound of you hear the sound effects of like sword fighting
Yeah.
and it's like those fucking monsters ain't fighting with a sword.
They're fighting with claws and
Yeah, I mean
Maybe they
it
got
just
razor
sounds like
sharp
metal.
claws.
Yeah, it sounds like metal on metal though.
yeah. I did catch that.
Talking about other foreshadowing too, though. Towards the end and all, whenever you see him come back into his hut, you see on the wall the axe, Thor's hammer, like all these weapons.
Yeah.
And you're like, you sit there and think in your head, you're like, well, shit, why didn't he ever use those ever? And then at the very end, you see him pull that axe out and just like go right into the head of that creature. But then you see the bag move a little bit
I
after
don't-
he walks off.
I don't know if I really have a triple Lindy for this movie.
That's probably fair. I mean, it's
The last 30 minutes of the
The
movie.
whole damn movie's a triple Lindy. I mean, it really kind of is.
There's not one moment that you're like, this is a triple Lindy.
No, it's the whole damn movie.
How about him just shooting that arrow and it just so happened to land into that whatever that shit
carcass
was.
or whatever
Yeah.
it was? Yeah, I guess I can go with that. That's like a 1 in a million shot because he wasn't aiming it.
No, he
And
just
I
shot
don't
it.
even remember if he had any fletching on that arrow, or if it was
I don't
just
know.
I can't remember.
I don't know, but you kind of thought something was going on with that though. Why would it land to that carcass? What was the point behind that? You know,
It was a cool arrowhead though.
that was a cool
It
arrowhead.
was a pretty cool arrowhead.
Do you think he paid for that?
with his life.
Don't have any top 5 trivia for this.
I tried to look for it, man.
Yeah.
Other than like things about the director and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
this movie's made by like 6 people, man. That's
Yeah.
trivia.
Yeah, I
There's-
mean it's there's not much on this movie that you can find that
So-
really sticks out. The location, that's about it. You know,
With that
the
being
budget.
said, we can jump straight into ratings and reviews and see what everybody thinks about this movie.
Yeah.
Chris, you want to go first?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
You know, here's the thing. This movie
Tell us the thing.
wasn't that bad. I don't care what y'all say. It really wasn't that bad of a movie. Y'all think it's terrible. I don't think it was that terrible. I'm just being 100% honest with you on it.
Okay. Hey.
It's
That's a good hot take right there.
it's the thing is that you're taking it from the perspective of like, you know, he has no dialogue. So the whole thing has to be done and kept up without the dialogue. There's nobody there around him to talk to. The little is more aspect is here with the monsters. You don't ever see them. It kind of sucked that you didn't ever see them fight the monster, but you see them come back with the monster's head.
Yeah, you see
that
the
leaves it
heads.
up to your imagination of what exactly happened, how did it happen. You know he gets his ass kicked by every one of them, but not as bad as they got their ass kicked, you know. So you have that aspect. Yeah, the brain thing, it was kind of the head thing, you know, roaming around. It's kind of like one of those made you feel like Evil Dead, you know, Ash type of thing. It was like, this is stupid. However, though, that little and the little twist at the end, him getting killed is not like you saw that kind of coming. But for the creature to take over his body, and then all of a sudden you see his head that gets put into the wall. Where is that creature going to now? Is he going to go off to the castle now that he's well
gonna
equipped?
He's going to go kill a bunch of people now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to go to that castle and start. He's got a sword or an axe, you know, that Thor's hammer. You know, he's got all that weapon, and then he has this house he can go back to now. That he can sit there and say, "Okay, I've got the elixir here. That if I get injured, boom, I got healing."
Yeah,
You
but
know, so-
you're assuming he knows how to make it.
There were still jars of it left.
There were, but it's not going to last forever.
No, it's not. But all you got to do is take over that kingdom.
It's fair.
So I mean, to me, I'm telling you, it's one of those like, in a weird way, I kind of wish that they would have done another one of these movies. I don't know if there is. No, I don't think there is.
Not yet.
But I mean,
Here's the thing: they made their money back. They could easily go make another one.
yeah, and it's. I honestly, I didn't think it was that bad.
wouldn't
I
really
didn't
call
think
it
it
a financial
moved.
success.
And 50% of people who can't afford like real phones would go watch it again, according to the statistics.
So, Chris, what's your rating?
Honestly, I'm giving it 2 beer.
2 beers.
Ooh.
That's
it's
awfully
generous.
high praise.
It is. I'm giving it to it because it has so much potential, and the fact that it only cost them $30,000, and it kept me more interested than a shitty ass movie like T2.
Oh,
Good point.
Go fuck yourself.
Here's the thing: Chris has swayed me off of my 5 beer stance of this movie, which I would have staunchly given this a year ago. I'm going to give it 4.5 beers.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, Chris talked me into it.
You want to expand on that a little bit, or just want to leave it at 4.5?
Here's the thing: it's not fair to the one actor in this movie to really penalize him for the movie. He has to carry this movie with acting by himself in this entire thing. I mean, while the movie's pacing is very slow and it makes it feel like even longer than it is.
Yeah, because it's only got a 72-minute runtime.
Yeah, but it feels like it's 2
fucking
hours.
See,
longer.
that's the thing. I didn't feel like it was that long.
Oh, man.
I was on the other end of it because I'm waiting. You're waiting the whole time that you're sitting there, and he comes back with nothing. Like you don't see the fights. You're sitting there thinking that sooner or later We're going to see the big ass fight at the
Do
end.
you know why you don't see a fight?
Because they don't have the budget
They
for
didn't
it.
have the fucking money for it.
You're right. All
But you didn't know that just watching the movie. You had to,
probably
look that up.
almost all 30,000. Other than
I
flying,
looked up the budget before I started watching it.
other than 6 people flying to the locations and coming back. You know,
Well, not all 6 people had to go.
it is true.
And here's the thing: this movie is not so much a movie about the character, so much it is for an excuse for 6 people to go fucking travel.
They look. They only had this budget, so they were like, "We need monsters in this movie." This makeup, this artist or whatever, the creature artist and all, was like each one of these $10,000. Fuck that. How much is the heads? We'll just take the heads.
All right, so you're giving it 2, you're giving it 4.5.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this: I think the movie had a really good idea, and it's some of it. Sometimes not seeing the monster is scarier than seeing the monster. It's a very Hitchcock thing to do, but there has to be a payoff, and I don't feel like we ever got the payoff in this movie.
Disagree.
I don't think we did.
Define what do you mean by payoff?
You never really see the monster. You see a
You
head.
saw the head. That
Was the monster. Yeah, that's all they
you
could
see-
afford.
In that one, that was the monster. Like now, the other ones I assumed were like full-bodied monsters.
I get that, but but I want to see more about. I want to know more about this character. I want to
Yeah.
know more about his backstory. I want to know more about the monster that killed the kid.
Well, you do.
Well,
He's
that's the monster you do know about.
No, I get that, but I want
Like where it origin from or something like that.
yeah,
or like why it
I
attacked
want
the
I
kid?
want
Yeah.
more. I want a more complete story. You can still have the ending. I don't have a problem with the ending, even though it was kind of obvious where the direction they were going with it. I just felt like they told an incomplete story.
Okay.
This
I
movie,
can't argue that point.
I mean,
This
it's
movie-
incomplete, but at the same time, it leaves it wide open for your imagination
This
to say
movie
what's
is-
going to happen next. You know,
This movie is not great. It's not even really that good, but it is not as bad as I was thinking it was going to be when Trey originally told us about it. Because I'm sitting here thinking this is going to be a complete fucking dumpster fire, and it's close. But this is a 4-beer movie.
4 beer.
4 beer.
My expectations were extremely low on this movie. Extremely low.
Well,
so when I
tried to
watched
set
it,
the bar very low.
yeah. So when I watched it, I was like, "Shit, it's not that bad." Like, it's not. Is it great? No, it's not great, but it's not bad. I would watch it again. Yeah.
So if you add up all of our scores, which is 2, 4.5, and 4, comes out to 10.5 divided by 3, comes out to a 3.5 beer movie, which
Oh,
Middle of the road.
it's
Slightly
worse.
lower
It's
than-
worse
Yeah, a
than
little bit
Lower.
lower,
but
This,
yeah.
it's not. We agree that it's not a good movie,
Yeah.
even though you skewed the rating.
I'm just being fair and honest about it. I would
But
watch this movie
I can,
again.
I can easily see Chris sitting there just watching this movie again.
I can. I could watch
This
this.
is-
but this is the
is-
equivalent of like watching a movie like with like old men sitting on a stoop and like just nothing happens. Like they're just whittling or fucking just hanging out. But like that's the movie.
yeah.
This is like grumpy old men to me.
I mean, it's one of those movies
Grumpy Old
where
Men's funny.
I think if they were to do another part to this movie, like, which I understand they may not, because I probably won't because of the budget and the money they got off of it and all that. But
Well, this-
if they
this
were
movie
to do a
did-
second part of it, there's, you know, the if they did do a second part of it, it would be one of those like, okay, now I got to watch the first one again because it is the ground story of the rest.
Well, we talk about
I
this.
mean,
not-
this movie did win
you-
several awards.
You talk about this not being like a commercial success, but think about all the movies that lose money. This
Yeah.
movie did not lose money.
it didn't really make.
It made half its budget. I mean, like
That's not considered a commercial success, though.
I mean, how much?
not losing
but-
money makes it a commercial
but
success.
think about
It
this.
doesn't have to generate millions. for it
What
to be a
movie
commercial
theaters
success.
really picked this movie up though?
Oh, dude.
So it's probably
don't
straight to
think-
Blu-ray,
I don't
right?
think anyone
Yeah.
did.
So it's straight to DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, right? Pretty much, or straight to digital, whatever it is. So literally, all of its money had to be picked up off of that, off of Shudder or whoever it was that they went to. That's probably where all of its money was made at. It didn't make it, and it wrote on the backs. Let's just be honest. It probably wrote on the backs of Games of Thrones and Witcher and movies like that because people are like looking for something to watch in between. They're like, hey, maybe this is like that.
I mean, this
And
might have been better if it was. It needed to go one of two ways. It either needed to be a lot shorter or it needed to be a lot longer with the full story.
How are you going to make it more shorter than 72 minutes and still have something to it?
I don't know.
It's hard to do that.
I don't know.
I mean, you're
Look, this movie is not as bad as Toxic Avenger, but it's not much better.
That's that's fair. I'll give you that. This is better than Toxic Avenger. I will totally give you that.
I mean-
Toxic Avenger was just stupid.
Yeah,
And this-
But they set out to be stupid. Like this one, like they set
Exactly.
out
they
to make
tried
this
to
a
be
good
serious. They
Yeah.
tried to be serious.
They did. They tried to be serious on the low budget that they had. And to me, I think they were more successful.
I disagree, but
Well, obviously they were more successful. Right, Trey?
I thought Toxic
Yeah,
Avenger
I mean-
made its money back.
one. Oh, it spawned several sequels. So-
Yeah. Plus
So that
toy,
was-
merchandise,
that unfortunately
cartoon
was a commercial
series.
success.
Huh?
So that unfortunately was a commercial success.
Well, that built the whole entire franchise, the,
entire brand.
trauma
Yeah.
vision, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I think that's about it for this episode.
You guys got anything else? If
I
not,
got nothing.
all right. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of The Guys Review. We'll see you next week.
Fuck off.